Generally speaking, a court is looking for a few things, but one main thing when trying to decide how the custody is going to work. Who is the main parent? And that seems like both simpler and more complicated at the same time. So what does it mean to be the main parent? And what happens if both people do a lot of the same stuff? So you need to think about court. Look, you're going in front of a person who, if you go to court and you're at the judge, whose job it is to listen people beg and scream and holler and plead with them for things all day. Both people always against each other saying who's right. Imagine if you have to listen to that for 1 hour, let alone day after day after day. And what I've learned about judges, and I tell people this, is I think they get really, really good at telling when somebody's lying to them. Something about it don't feel quite right. It doesn't resonate with you. And that's why, if you're watching this video, I know, you're still here because I'm telling you the truth. And you can feel that, and you know that I mean it. That's how a judge is. And so when you're saying all the reasons why you're the main parent, and he's saying why he's all the reasons he's the main parent, they're sitting up there in the catbird seat going part of it's going to be about who they believe. Who did they align with? So you absolutely want to go in there in full credibility. Right, wrong, good, bad, indifferent. Tell the truth. That doesn't mean you have to tell everything that you know, okay? You don't got to blabber to be telling the truth. But definitely don't be a liar, because I swear to you, they're going to feel it and they're going to know it. Or you got to be so good at it that there's no way you care what I'm telling you. You already know what to do to lie your booty off. You shouldn't do that, but you might. But the things they're going to be looking for to determine who's the main parent, if it's not clear, one of y'all is a drug person and one of y'all is not. I mean, that's kind of obvious. But they'll be looking at things like who picks up from school, who drops off at daycare, who takes to the doctor's appointments, who arranges play dates, who decides what to get everybody for Christmas, who knows everybody's kids' best friends' names, who knows what everybody's favorite colors are. And depending on the age of your kids, what would the therapist say? What would the counselor say? What would the teacher at school say? So these are all little bits and pieces, little pinpoints in time that you, if you're doing it on your own, or your lawyer, if you have a legal team, will piece together to tell the story and try to show the judge and paint this picture of why you're the primary parent. So there's an art to it. There's a little bit of science to it. And I think a lot of times when it's a close call, it comes down to a judge's gut and who's more credible, if that's an issue. One thing you may do during your divorce to really support your legal case is create a custody journal. And I hated doing this. I hated it. I hate making it. I hate detailing it. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not the write it all down as it happens person. Or at least I wasn't. And even if you're not, you need to become this person. Put on that costume for at least this time period. And the app that I love to use for this is the Day One Journal app. And in that app, it's gotten really sophisticated. You can do check-ins, you can do a pin function, drop in pictures, notes. And what this does is help keep a record to jog your memory and help your lawyer know what to ask you that they could use in court. Because I promise you, you will forget. You think, there's no way, and I'm never going to forget that time he was 3 hours late after he told me to screw off, blah, 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 blah. You'll forget. Part of your brain's just going to whitewash it because you don't want to ever think about it again. And then part of it, it's like a CD. Remember CDs? These kiddos, that's a circle thing that had music on it. And you can re-record over them. I know it's crazy, but that's it. Your brain is going to be like a re-recorded CD. And it's going to have new stuff layered on top of it, and you're not going to remember. So creating this journal, especially now that they have these app thingies, will help you know what to tell your lawyer. You can even make tags on certain issues. And sometimes it can be the proof. You may have to someday show that you were at a place you say you were. And if you've got that metadata check-in thing in your journal, I mean, that's pretty good evidence of where you went. Or maybe you go into the gas station and buy a Coke and take a picture of the receipt and put it in there. that might be able to help. So keeping a journal can help support custody when you do it with that mindset. That's that kind of journal. There's the other kind of journal, more for like your mental health and gratitude and things like that. That doesn't super duper serve me. And I didn't do this at the time. Honestly, there was no way I would have done that at the time. But I think it could really help you if you need to focus on having gratitude, connecting with what you're grateful for, that everything around your life is not total crap. Like you still have your health, you still live in the United States, greatest country in the world, despite some crazy things. And keeping track of all the things to connect with. I think that kind of a journal could also be helpful. But that would just be unique to you and your personality. Like they now have those journals where you can print out little pictures and make it kind of an artsy craftsy little release as well. But the one I think you really want to consider if custody is an issue and your divorce is one of those app type things that helps you collect evidence. If you've spent much time on the internet in the divorce universe, you may hear people talking about gathering testimony from other people for your case. And yes and no. Here's what people do all the time. They'll come, I'm a divorce lawyer in Austin, Texas, and they'll like bring in stuff, all these write-ups and statements and things from their witnesses. The thing is, I can't use that in court. It's what's called hearsay. Like it's not said in the court, it's said outside of the court, so it doesn't come in. Okay. Now, it can be helpful for me in reviewing what someone might say if I call them as a witness to go into the court and say that thing. So it's not like without some merit, but I think people get it in their brain. Oh, well, I have a letter from my boss. That ain't worth the paper it's written on to me in court. I cannot use that. I got to haul your boss's booty down here and sit him in that chair and ask him a bunch of questions. Okay. So that's one thing to keep in mind. It can help your lawyer understand your case better, right? And the one thing you got to watch is depending on the situation, that witness statement may need to be produced to the other side in discovery. So just like talk to your lawyer about that before you go making up a bunch of new documents for them. Because what if they say something weird that like you don't really want in your case? So just think that part through. But in thinking about which witnesses you might want to testify in court, there are ones that have like bigger weight than others. So like counselors, therapists, mental health professionals, experts that have lots of degrees and stuff after their name, their opinions may matter more than like your friend next door or like your mama. It's always so sweet and cute and like completely not correct that people think their mom can come testify to a thing. Like judges, generally speaking, don't believe your mama about you as much as she may love you. And I'm sure you're so sweet and adorable, but she's probably not going to be your best witness unless there was like some big events that she saw or something, but just like, hey, I swear my daughter's a really good person. Well, yeah, I mean, probably, but maybe the kid's classroom teacher could talk about how the child acts when they come back from being with dad versus when they come back from being with you. Things like that might be able to help. So like if there's more degrees, or I guess it's like less about degrees and more about objectivity. Like, does this person have a reason to lie? Your mama, she may have a reason to lie. The school teacher, I mean, really what's in it for him or her? Just to explain and help this kiddo. The cop who came when the police were called for whatever reason, like what's he or she have to lose or gain in this situation? So I think that's how to think through whose testimony will be needed in the future. But just keep in mind, generally speaking, like as a general rule, it has to be said in the court. So you can't just send it in a paper and that be enough. I mean, there's some exceptions, but that's the general rule. When getting divorced, appearances do matter. And that goes for in the community, online, everywhere. Because here's the thing. You're creating a story for the judge and for the mediator, depicting who you are. And like ideally, the public facing persona in real life or on the computer are the same as who you really are, right? In an ideal world, they all match, everything's authentic, and everything is great. But you've been living long enough to know, sister, that that's not always the case. So I would always lean towards being authentic. And then if authenticity does not breed like, June Cleaver, Mother Teresa vibes, then just keep your mouth shut. Better to be quiet than to speak and everybody knows you're a fool or something like that. Don't go flapping your mouth on the internet if you're going to say dumb stuff that hurts your case. Duh. Do not use the internet as like your therapy situation. You will see this again in the future. Duh. But I say duh, like people do this all the time. Like, this is not the time to pop off. Squeaky clean. Say less. Less is more. And as far as your reputation with like real life, I mean, yeah, like this is the time to show up to all the basketball games, t-ball games, church, whatever. Put your best face forward because it's going to be compared to his best face forward. And sometimes whoever face looks the best wins. If you feel a little bit overwhelmed or scared or lost about how to gather the evidence you need to prove that you're parent of the year, then you're going to want to grab the My Confident Divorce course. And in one of those modules, we walk through, first of all, to figure out whether you are the parent of the year, like getting really real about how you're showing up as a mom and taking inventory and stock of areas you may need to improve. And then we drill down and like, okay, what are the action steps you need to take to improve your position so that you can get the custody that you want of the kids when this is all said and done? And we walk through very specific, practical advice of things you can do right now. And then the evidence and things you can gather to support your position and set you up well for your entire divorce, hopefully to be faster, easier, and cheaper while you protect your kids' money and sanity in the process. So can't wait to see you in there. Talk soon.